Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, of course. And as you can see from the title of this video, I'm going to be giving commentary on two TikTok videos made by a Black female therapist who totally goes in on Martell and Carlos King. She definitely gets them together. She's made two videos, like I said, so we're going to take a look at them both, and I'll come back with my commentary. Now, before we get into this content, I ask that you please hit the like button on this video. Even if you were to hit the dislike button, either one of those work the same, meaning that YouTube will push this video out through its algorithm, recommending this video to more people who enjoy discussing the various topics surrounding love and marriage Huntsville. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit. I would definitely love to have you. And everything that I'll be saying in this video is alleged and just my opinion. And the Copyright Act of 1976 says that my fair use commentary on these TikTok videos are allowed for criticism. I know Discovery did not like me playing that clip. And then when I tried to send feedback, it got really complicated. And I just said, I'll just record the video again. So hopefully this will be okay. All right, so I am going to mute my mic. I want to also shout out the Money Making Melody fan page on Instagram. They posted part 1 of this therapist breaking down Martell's behavior, and particularly how OWN and Kingdom Reign Entertainment would be liable if, God forbid, anything were to happen to Melody or her children. So shout out to them. That is how I discovered these TikTok videos. Once I logged out of work, I opened up Instagram and there it was. So shout out to the Money Making Melody _ fan page on Instagram. So now I will mute my mic so that you all do not experience an echo. We're going to watch part 1, and then I'll probably give my commentary on that, and then we'll get into part 2. All right, here we go.
Hey y'all, and happy Thursday. So, if it's Thursday, I don't have nothing better to do than to confess. So, I'm not sure if a lot of y'all know, I am a reality TV junkie. I go all the way back to what it was it Road Rules, Real World, all that other good stuff. Y'all familiar with this man right here? His name is Martell Holt. He is a part of Love and Marriage Huntsville. He is on, I believe it's on the Oprah Winfrey Network show. So recently, this is going to be a long one. So just prepare to just go with the ride with me. This man in particular has been in a marriage with his ex-wife, Melody Cherie. She doesn't want to be called Holt no more. I can fully understand why. This man has baffled me as to how he still has a job all these seasons later. And here's why. So the reason why I say I'm surprised he still has a job is that because for a lot of you guys who do not know, I'm a mental health therapist. I have been working in this field for about 15 years now, and my specialty is domestic violence. This man in particular is a walking narcissistic abuser. Let me tell you as to why. So recently, on their latest episode, he was arrested, I believe, for harassing text messages. Now, everybody on the cast was just like, well, why would he get charged with domestic violence? Text messaging and harassing text messages isn't domestic violence. Yes, it is. And I'm really annoyed that in the year of our Lord and Savior of 2024, that we still have to break down why this is considered domestic violence. But here we go. We're going to give you a crash course as to what constitutes as domestic violence in this case. All right, so let's go over the basics, right? There is your physical violence, right? Where people are either putting you in threatening positions, where they're actually placing physical harm in your way, or if they're actually putting their hands on you. Then we have financial abuse. Sometimes the abuser can take all the money out the account, try to control the money, steal money from them, or cause you to prevent yourself from making money. Then we can go into spiritual abuse, where we will take different things out of our spiritual practices and manipulate it to fill our own personal agenda and manipulate that against the potential victim in the situation. But the one in particular that I think people really, really, really forget about is the verbal and the emotional abuse. Now, this is why I still question why this man still has a job on this show. So, when it comes to verbal abuse, that means I'm using every vile thing to say to you to get under your skin, to make you feel like you're going crazy, or to make you feel less than. And a lot of times when I have clients that come in that they are victims or survivors of domestic violence, it's the verbal and the emotional abuse they say are the hardest ones to shake, because a physical abuse will heal. However, the mental abuse, the emotional abuse, those are like a broken record. It's kind of just like you have to be very, very, very intentional and work so hard to change the narratives that are going wrong in your head that was placed by the abuser. So, when we're talking about emotional abuse and verbal abuse, that also includes text messages. So, in these text messages, he was threatening to use a sex tape against her. He was also saying, "Stop bullying me." He was also trying to make an excuse as to why he was reacting the way he was. The reason why I question why does he still have a job is because we look at these shows as just that pure entertainment. However, that is still a workplace environment. And the reason why I continue to harp on this, and I've had a lot of these discussions with a lot of my friends who are also in the field, is that should something happen to Melody or her children, she is being put in harm's way. And legally, it is for her employer to make sure she is being well taken care of and away from those type of things, which they have video and it is documented history of this type of behavior from him. Now, the thing that gets on my nerves about him the most, which I should already know this because, again, abusers do not take accountability for anything, but the simple fact that he tries to find any and every excuse as to why it is her fault that he has reacted in the way he has versus taking ownership of the roles that he's played, the fact that he's cheated, which is also a form of sexual abuse, because you not only are having sex unprotected, you're bringing something possibly back to your ex-wife. And I know a lot of times we as a society are not taught, we're a lot of times we're taught that, they love to stay in it, they love them so much, or they choose to stay in it. It takes on average 8 to 10 times before a person leaves an abusive relationship, whether it is building the confidence to go, whether it is plotting and planning to make sure when they leave it is a safe situation. Whatever the case may be, that is their process. Again, it does not resolve the fact that this person is the one still causing harm and abuse. And then, because of court records that were documented and was leaked, he's been abusing the children as well. So again, we're having a history. And I understand when we're talking about entertainment and shows, yes, this is entertainment for us. That is still a workplace for them. And I'm not necessarily trying to take money out of somebody else's pockets because this is reality. However, where do we draw the line from there? Hey, y'all, and happy Thursday.
Okay, so we watched part one. Part one was already great and it was just under 6 minutes. That's what I love about digital media and apps like YouTube and TikTok. We can all share information with each other, pour our hearts out, or be educational in the form of minutes. And, information is shared. So I thought she did great. The name of her TikTok page is Look Out for Lauren. And again, I found this from the Money Making Melody _ fan page on Instagram. Thank you so much for this. So the therapist, right out the gate, she questions why Martell still has a job on a reality TV show on OWN. In my opinion, he is obviously protected by Carlos King and Kingdom Reign. I don't know how Carlos does it at this point, or if OWN is just so disconnected from the content on Love and Marriage Huntsville that they are unaware. But baby, thanks to Miss Black Titanic's lawsuit, I'm sure she has opened Pandora's box so that OWN has no choice but to open up its eyes and look at the much deeper picture of what's going on this TV show. Now, also, this mental health therapist, Lauren, she points out that the harassing text messages is a form of DV. And I felt like this is so educational. So she talked about, she broke down different forms of DV where there's obviously, physical abuse, right? Where someone is putting their hands on you. She talked about financial abuse. She talked about how they could be going into the shared bank account and withdrawing funds that would not represent, their contributions to that account. And instantly, I thought of when he allegedly took the 17,000 out of their joint bank account. And Melody Cherie was understandably upset. She reacted the way that I would, okay? And so I thought of that financial abuse. Also, she talked about OWN being a workplace environment because OWN is the network, of course, on which Love and Marriage Huntsville airs. So she said, if God forbid anything were to happen, they would be liable allegedly, because that is the workplace environment. That is like the conduit through which we're able to watch this TV show. So I just thought that the part one was already educational. And she even pointed out that cheating could be a form of sexual abuse. What do you all think about that? And the different forms of DV, including financial abuse. But she said, if your spouse is cheating and they're having unprotected sex, there's the possibility of bringing something home, like a disease. So I'm like, oh my gosh, that is a form of sexual abuse. That is very deep. Great information. Shout out to you looking out for Lauren. Thank you so much for sharing this information. Be sure to follow her on TikTok. So now we're going to get ready to watch part two. So again, I will mute my mic and then I'll come back with my commentary. Please hit the like button. Thank you.
And one of the things that a lot of us will say, well, she chose this and she's entertaining it. I also have seen tendencies by Melody where I look back and I'll say, okay, you are antagonizing certain situations, but also I see a woman trying to make the most out of a situation because she still has young children that she has to co-parent with. And the laws out here in the South that I am learning are very male identified, so they do not help women that are really in these situations because, again, there is a lack of knowledge and awareness around it, which is still frustrating to me in the day and age of our Lord and Savior in 2024. But here's some things that I think should be taken into consideration. He should be fired. You do not give people like him a platform to continue to harass his ex-wife. And on top of it, which I think I'm starting to see it a little bit more now, the people in the surroundings, meaning the other cast members, stop saying that they should get back together. I think y'all finally got the point. However, again, the most dangerous times for victims of DV is when they're trying to leave a situation or when they're pregnant. And 9 times out of 10, the reason why they are the most dangerous times is because you are questioning and giving that person, the abuser, the knowledge of you are no longer in control, which makes them want to hold on to control even more. This man has harassed her, has stalked her, has showed up at different events. This is mainly off the account of what's been shown on television and from what has been displayed on social media. Because unlike all the other shows where a lot of things happen, they legit live forever and ever on social media, on and off seasons. And, take it as for whatever you want to call it, shade or whatnot. However, I do say people like Carlos King, I know you guys are always out, especially producers are out for the story and what's going to be the most that's going to bring reality. I don't know what the hell to call it. But y'all really have to take into consideration the mental well-being, the physical well-being of your cast, which is essentially your staff. Your talent is the one that's bringing you money. Take that into consideration, including their safety. And again, I'm going to preface it because a lot of times we're not educated, so I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt. However, there's been too many things to where this should be taken into consideration seriously. And another thing, because y'all like to use that word narcissist a little bit too much without fully understanding the definition of it, I want you guys to see where it says narcissistic personality disorder. Now, mind you, all of us have self-centered ways at times. But if you look through the what do we call it? The characteristics of what causes it, you have to have at least at least five different characteristics that we could actually diagnose you with. Now, when it comes to Martell, he's actually classic narcissistic personality disorder. And mind you, I don't even like diagnosing other people who are not my clients in particular, because again, I can only go based off of the character he is presenting himself to be on the television screen. However, if we look at everything that reaches the criteria of it, he definitely reaches five of these, and I'm going to go through which five they are. Okay, let's go through this together. Has a grandiose sense of self-importance, achievements, and talents. Expects to be recognized superior. Okay, you hit that one, Martell. Is preoccupied with fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love. I definitely think that falls under your category as well. Believes that he or she is special and unique and can only be understood or associated with other special and high. He don't give that one. Requires excessive admiration. Definitely. Has a sense of entitlement. Absolutely. Is interpersonally explosive. Absolutely. Lacks empathy. Yes. Is often envious of others or believes people is envious of them. He has definitely showed that. Shows arrogance, haughty personalities, and behaviors. You hit that on the nail, boo. Look at that. All in all, I love reality television. I do. I probably watch that more than regular television in any given case. However, I come to reality shows as a form of escapism, as a form of just entertainment, and I want to be able to laugh and enjoy. Seeing things like this makes it hard to watch these type of shows. And a part of me wants to watch because I want to be able to support a Black cast, especially on a Black network. But then also, I do not want to help perpetuate an abuser being an abuser and nobody holding him accountable, and there's no consequences for his behaviors. Because the more he does things, it seems like he keeps getting rewarded with contracts. So it's a very compromising situation, and it's very triggering to a lot of the people who watch this show in general as well. But I just wanted to give a little bit of an education and share my frustrations with this show, particularly with him. Have a great one. And one of the things that a lot of us will say, well, she chose this and she's entertaining.
Okay, y'all. So that was part two. Again, I think this therapist is wonderful. I think she's spot on. Now, she said that she feels like definitely Melody is trying to make the best out of a situation. And definitely for all of the women out there who have to co-parent with some of these fools out here, I know that you're trying to make the best out of the situation, you know. I don't feel like Melody antagonizes Martell. I know that that's what Lauren, the therapist, said in the beginning of part two, but then she said when she thinks about that, she knows that Melody is trying to make the best out of this situation. I mean, literally, in my opinion, he just comes off like a walking, you know, bomb. Like he could just go off at any moment. So then, like, you don't want to tiptoe and just be submissive to whatever he wants, but at the same time, you have to protect your peace, choose yourself, love yourself more, right? So then you're like, I'm going to do what's best for my peace of mind and to not always have drama with this dude So then you may try to, compromise with him. She tried to be so nice to him when she treated him on the trip to Destin, Florida. And then it was right after that trip that he tried to threaten her with the revenge P. So it's like, some people, they're not worthy of your kindness. They'll just take advantage of that. So, but definitely Melody is trying to make the best of her situation. Now, the therapist also said that, Southern laws, she says Southern laws are male identified, meaning, they favor the men. And I know that we've talked about this before, right? In previous videos. The South is also known as the Bible Belt. So you're going to have lots of conservative lawmakers, conservative judges, and then they're going to make decisions accordingly. I remember like my sister Donna telling me, like when you first get divorced and there's a baby involved, at first the judge is going to try and see if the husband and wife can get back together. Like, excuse me, who would just get back together for the kids? I'm not saying that young people are not important, but if that's a toxic environment, why would you want two people to remain married for the kids? But anyway, I've been told that sometimes the judge initially will try and see if the parents can reconcile. And then after that, it seems like on a very conservative level, it is favored towards the men. I made a video not too long ago, giving commentary, taking a look back on like the season 4 reunion, when Melody was crying in her dressing room and she said, "I hate Huntsville." And, her mom was saying, "It's time to get primary custody of the kids." And she said, "Mama, the judge won't give it to me. Like they favor him." So that will always be just like a very emotional scene for me. It's very frustrating. If you ever want to help someone and there's nothing that you can do, like I'm not the judge. There is no witchcraft to control the judge's thoughts and actions. We can't pay the judge off, right? So it's literally all you can do for someone in those moments is pray. Pray that God softens the hearts of the judge or opens up their eyes, shows them the truth, things like that, like a supernatural blessing, literally in situations like this. But it does make me think of like conservative lawmakers and judges that would favor men. So I agree with the therapist on that. Now, the therapist, Lauren, she bluntly said that Martell should be fired. And lots of people definitely agree because he's adding to that hostile work environment. And I just don't want to see anyone rewarded with offering or threatening your ex-wife with revenge P. It just seems like for him to remain employed, it's like he's being rewarded for his bad behavior. And that just sucks, for lack of a better word. It sucks and it's unfair. It's unfair when the world that we physically live in, it doesn't return the positive energy that you put out. And I feel like Martell does not return the energy that, she puts out. You know what I'm saying? She does these days where she cash apps people hundreds of dollars. She does it for multiple people and she's done it several times over. And then, with Martell, he's like trying to come after people who talks about the court documents, So it's like night and day. And I just don't like people getting rewarded with bad behavior. And that's how it is, not just on this TV show, but in the workplace, period. Some people, if they're favored, they can just totally go off the rails, in my opinion. And she said something that I love. She said that people, particularly the cast, they need to stop saying that perhaps Melody and Martell could get back together. Of course, I thought about Dr. Heavenly. When in videos past, she would say, "But you know what? I think they might get back together one day." And she would question whether or not they were still in love with each other. Well, in my opinion, Martell is in love with Melody. If he could, oh my gosh, he would be running in with a suitcase or his stuff in a pillowcase on a stick, trying to move back in with her if he could. But, in recent days, just like on Monday to be exact, Dr. Heavenly, she acknowledged the fact that she's been saying perhaps they will get back together one day. But then she said, well, it is too toxic with the threat of the revenge P. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but I agree. I don't, and it's not just the cast. Like in life, like you can say that you empowered yourself, you walked away from a situation that did not serve you. And like people, they'll say, like, like I'm not even saying more seasoned people, just straight up the elderly, they will say, like, oh, you'll be back. You'll get back into that. Like, excuse me, did you not hear me? It's almost like they're trying to invalidate what you've done, with courage and confidence. They're trying to say, oh, what you just did ain't nothing. You'll be back. You'll be back to doing that job or in that situation with that person, whatever. And so I agree. Like, stop saying that and stop going so light. Shout out to other bloggers. I know so many people have made videos about Sunny and Destiny and like brown skin girl. And, they're talking about how the cast like Kimmy and Tisha are trying to judge Sunny. And it's like, you got so much heat for Sunny, but you have none for Martell. Like Kimmy will literally say he's a good guy. Okay. So I just feel like there's always an imbalance, always a double standard, always favoring the man, Martell. But that is a symptom of being male identified. Now, the therapist, Lauren, again, her TikTok page is Look Out for Lauren. She called out Carlos King and said that he needs to consider both the well-being and the safety of his cast. I thought that was an excellent point. I thought that it was well said. I've made videos before talking about almost like a revenge, hostile workplace environment in relation to Miss Van. Because I was just wondering, like, we're not seeing her anymore. And it's because, they had to fire Wanda because of her behavior. And I just felt like they were taking that firing out on Miss Van. And so I hope this is not the culture that, they're just going to like stick it to some people and favor others. But I agree. I feel like Carlos should definitely think about the well-being and safety. So kudos to Melody Cherie for speaking up for herself in the podcast show in Huntsville. And then, of course, the therapist, Lauren, she definitely outlined, in her opinion, her words, I'm just repeating, that Martell is a classic narcissistic personality disorder. She said that in order for you to be considered of having that disorder, you would have to possess 5 of the traits. She did go into some of those on her TikTok. So I felt like Homegirl was very detailed. She was organized with what she was saying, and she explained everything in a clear and concise manner. So thanks again to you, Look Out for Lauren on TikTok, for these wonderful videos. But you all let me know in the comments, what do you think about Look Out for Lauren and what she shared? Shout out again to Money Making Melody _ fan page on Instagram for sharing part 1. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate the support. Please hit the like button on this video because it is a free way of supporting the channel. And please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit if you have not already done so. The weekend is here. I am about to leave and battle the rush hour traffic. And yeah, some pasta just fell, so I'm going to be getting that. But I'm going to be going to the movies, battling rush hour traffic to see Planet of the Apes. So that should be good. That should be entertaining. I hope you all are having a great start to the weekend. Be safe out there, and I will talk with you soon. Bye.